If you look at Kendrick Lamar's albums,
I have a very unpopular opinion in this room.
if you look at all the Kendrick Lamar albums that have come out throughout his career, right? And we're gonna include Section 80. Section 80 technically is a mixtape, but we're gonna include it as an album. It's not a studio album, because according to him, if you go on GNX, it says this is his 6th studio album, but technically it's his 7th project. But they're counting it as an album, so Section 80 doesn't count as an album.
I think they're calling LP.
Yeah. I have number 1 being Good Kid, Mad City. I think Good Kid, Mad City is one of the best albums of all time, right? Actually, this is not all his albums, because they put Good Kid, Mad City twice on here. I feel like there's another one that's missing.
Yeah.
Am I bugging? Well, this might be.
He has more projects.
He has more projects, but
Am I missing one?
No, it's not. You're not. You're right. Wait.
Well, do we want to include Overly Dedicated or not?
No, you can't. Wow.
Untitled?
I think he is calling Section 80 an album then.
No, he is calling Section 80 now. My bad, guys. I might have fucked up.
Yeah, he is.
I was looking at the. I was looking at the Good Kid, Mad City double. The deluxe album, and I thought it was counted as one. My apologies there.
Is.
I'll take that back. Okay, so he's counting, I'm assuming, Section 80 as an album.
I was right, by the way, because I said that. Nigga said no, Vic said no. I was right, eat me.
Because I don't think it's an album. It was a mixtape. When it came out, I remember we were listening to it on that pit, like on mixtape platforms when it came out.
But I think
Kendrick
he officially
Lamar's
released
new
it.
mixtape.
I consider it an album.
I consider it an album. It sounds like an album.
So,
as a single.
So they're considering Overly Dedicated as well?
No. Let's rank his 6 projects. We're not counting Untitled, Unmastered, not counting the Black Panther album, not counting the Kendrick Lamar EP, not counting Overly Dedicated. From Section 80 forward, his solo albums.
So Section 80.
I have Good Kid, Mad City number 1.
Okay.
I have Damn number 2. I have Section 80 number 3. I have To Pimp a Butterfly number 4. And now I would have to put GNX number 5. Right, because 6, yeah. GNX will have to be number 5. And Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, I think, is still his worst album. I think Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, I think, is his worst album. Now, this is rankings. I still think that within this, Kendrick Lamar has 2 classic albums. Just because it's a classic doesn't have to make it higher in the ranking to me. It's my personal ranks, right? But I do think that Good Kid, Mad City is a classic album, undeniable. And I do think that To Pimp a Butterfly is a classic album. I have To Pimp a Butterfly as a classic hip-hop album. Some people say Damn is. I wouldn't be mad. Okay. Some people want to call Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers a classic. Not to me. But I can see if you're okay, it's like a meaningful message. If you want to be like, oh, scholarly maybe, and like say that, politically correct, it's a future classic. Okay. I don't think so. But that's just my opinion. What do you rank these albums? Do you think that GNX is the worst? You put it below everything?
So, my ranking is going to piss people off. Number 1 is Pimp the Butterfly. Number 2 would be Good Kid, Mad City. Number 3 would be Section 80. Number 4 is Damn. Number 5 is Mr. Morale. Number 6 is GNX. I actually think Kendrick has 3 classics. I consider Section 80 a classic. Just because I think Rigor Mortis, I think the song he has with Schoolboy Q, I forgot what it's called, Blow Your High, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't want to make chat correct me if I'm wrong. I think those are like legendary songs. Ronald Reagan era, legendary song. I listen to Tammy's song all the time. Like, there are songs on there that are part of my existence. They are part of my upbringing. I'm always gonna have Pimp the Butterfly number 1. I think, You is the greatest introspective song I've heard in my life. It's like pure thoughts of someone talking to themselves. The reason why I have Mr. Morale number 5 and not GNX, I don't think GNX is sequenced well. That's one of my biggest criticisms of it. I think he jumps from sound to sound, and it confuses me a little bit, and it makes me feel a certain way. I like when albums are like a story, when it's a plot, when it's trying to give you something. And I also think Mr. Morale, I resonate well with it because I'll be honest with you on a personal level. I've been in that relationship where it gets abusive on both ends and you're doing things that you're going to regret. I've been in the relationship where you want to cheat. So it's always, I've been the child who has to deal with your mother's trauma and just growing up and dealing with that. So I'm always going to resonate with those messages he was trying to give off and just looking at that and being honest about it. Like that vulnerability in that album is very deep because it's like you're coming out and you're telling us the nasty shit you did to the people you love.
Yeah.
And that's really hard. So I'm always going to respect that and I have to have it.
Where do you rank the albums, Marloon?
For me, Good Kid, Mad City is number 1. Number 2, damn. Number 2, I'll give it to Damn. Number 3, Section 80. Number 4, To Pimp a Butterfly. I think it's the same shit as yours. Number 5, GNX, and number 6, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. But to be honest, I would listen to all the other mixtapes or whatever over Mr. Morale.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
100%. I don't like Mr. Morale. I don't like Mr. Morale at all.
Did you guys go back to that recently?
Yeah, okay. I don't like it. I don't like it, bro. I listen to Overly Dedicated over that any day. I listen to Untitled any day. Black Panther any day.
I mean, let me look at
Kendrick
Mr.
Lamar
Morale.
joint any day. I don't like Mr. Morale, bro. It just didn't do it for me. It just didn't do it for me. There was only a couple of tracks. I'm not gonna go back to a whole ass album for 2 tracks, bro.
I was a
I'm
fan of the
sorry.
second half of Mr. Morale.
That's where my fandom
I like
kicks in for me.
Mother Eye Sober. I love that song. Mirror, Mr. Morale, Savior,
Uh-huh.
Silent Hill.
Uh-huh.
Count Me Out is dope, but like everything else is kind of like skewed. Like Father Time is cool. I'm not a huge fan of this album. I don't know. Maybe the timing of it. I feel like the timing might not have worked in his benefit, where it was like anticipated, like he had that song with Baby Keem where he was like top 5, smoking on top 5. We thought he was gonna rap his ass off on that album. Like he just gonna do pure
That's
rap.
the thing, man.
We thought the Drake shit that he's doing now was gonna be back then.
We had expectations,
And it fucked it up.
and it did not meet them.
Yeah.
And I think that had a lot to do with it, and that's why it's one of those things where it's like don't have expectations because it's gonna be met with
And as a father, I appreciate the cover. I think that might be arguably maybe his best album cover. The Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers might be his best album cover.
Yeah.
I love
that's
the
a great
gun
album
in
cover.
the fucking pants.
Yeah.
And the Jesus crown with the son in his hand
Expensive
or
ass.
daughter.
Yeah,
I
expensive
forgot
ass
which
crown.
one. But his children in his hand and then Whitney in the background and
His
the paint.
his second one is definitely To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah. Because
Yeah, To Pimp a Butterfly is it's a classic cover.
N95 is my favorite song off that one.
I like
Someone said-
N95.
And it's because, bro, like someone said this in the chat. It feels like therapy when you listen to it. It's therapy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That album is therapy. I've been to therapy for a long period of my life. I know I can appreciate it for what it is a lot more. So I get it.
Section 80 is a good cover too.
Nigga, Section 8 is fire.
I don't think that Kendrick Lamar has one bad album. I don't think Kendrick Lamar has one bad album.
I agree.
I think Kendrick Lamar is one of the best album rappers of all time. That's why people want his albums and go crazy whenever his albums come out. The thing is with this recent one, GNX, it was the first album where there's no theme. There's like really no theme, right? There's like a subtle theme, but it's not like a theme that's throughout the album. The only thing that we can maybe tie is the mariachi singer as like a theme.
Yeah.
But-
we still haven't like figured out what it's supposed to mean.
We can argue the West
No,
Coast is a theme, but it's not fully West Coast
No,
either.
I saw that there was like a post roaming around where they were like asking her. She was like, I just ended up here, blah blah blah. But it was DK like Kendrick Lamar saying it's like, I did it because Latin culture, they're LA.
He was at the Dodger game and he saw her singing. He
Yeah.
probably was in his head like, "Yo, this is
Bro.
LA." Like
He's
she's singing.
yeah, it's like they're LA. They're my people. I love them.
I love him too, bro. I love fucking Mexican food. I love all that shit. You kidding me? We go to Leo's Tacos every time we're in Leo's Tacos every time we're in LA.
They gon' love me for my ambition.
And that was a clip from our podcast, the Club Ambition Podcast. Cap, if you're looking to watch the full episode, make sure to go check it out right now. It's available on audio and also on YouTube.